Let's get ready to rumble! What a performance that was!
Well, great viewers out there. It's time for Sportsville. My name is George Aluo. We are set to roll again, and as usual, we'll have a bumper package for you. And to God be the glory, things are beginning to happen in sports, although without fans. But the good thing is that we are seeing sports come back gradually. We saw that in Europe, especially in the German Bundesliga. Kudos to the Germans; they did a good job. The league has started, and other countries are following suit. So we'll take a look at that. Sports without fans, even World Athletics is beginning to look in the direction of sports without fans in the interim. Maybe sometimes much later in the year we'll be talking about fans getting back. Even in Nigeria, talk about the sports festival is on now as we speak. I'm not alone in the studio. I must tell you, I have my colleagues here. Baby of the house, Oluchi Best Tobechukwu is here, alongside Tony Nwokoma Yagazie Obani. Together we're going to roll. After this break, I'll come back and introduce my guests. Don't go away. It is Sportsville. All right, welcome back to the show. If you have just joined us, we are now beginning to fire on all cylinders. Let me start by introducing baby of the house, Oluchi Best Tobechukwu. Oluchi, welcome to Sportsville.
Thank you so much, George. It's a pleasure to be here once again. And I must tell you that football is back, and people must learn to embrace it without the fans, because that is the only way we can minimize the transmission of the virus.
Okay, football is back. Other sports are back, I must tell you, but there are no fans backing it up. That is what it looks like in the interim. On that note, let me welcome Tony Nwokoma Yagazie Obani to the show. Tony, you're welcome to Sportsville.
Thank you so much, George, and of course, thank you, Tobex, and indeed, our wonderful viewers. George, like Oluchi said, sports to me is life, and that indeed is an indication that life is back. COVID or no COVID, life must continue, and sports have just signaled the way that life is back, and within a very short time, full life will be, with us, and then we'll see fans, and then everybody will begin to go, his or normal way of life without COVID.
All right, that's how we'll start the show. We just hope that fans will be back eventually to these different stadiums across the world. But the good thing is life is coming back. Like Tony said, life is sports and sports is life. And talking about sports coming back, we just hope that in Nigeria, our old sports festival will soon hold. The sports minister is already tinkering on how Edo 2020 will hold. And interestingly, the minister is waiting to talk to us exclusively all the way from Abuja. Let's hear the sports minister now speak to us and share his thoughts with us on all the things, all his plans that he has for Nigerian sports. Hello, sir.
Thank you for having me. Well, to a large extent, I've been a listening minister. The line of communication is open. Of course, because of the interest, so many people have suggestions, ideas on the direction we should go. I try as much as possible to listen and ingest most of this information, some of them very educative, some of them also forward-looking. But also, it's important to know that all of this information that come back, you can't act on them immediately. You have to filter them, and there's a process. But also, there are also limitations. So I've also kept abreast with also passport administrators, passport ministers, but also buried myself in about 4 or 5 reports that from different committees that have been written in the past. So within all of that information and communication, I've been able to focus on key areas that we need to get to nail down to be able to start that process to bring back a resurgence of our sports development in the country. Let me say quickly, the focus areas are clear. Infrastructure, mandatory. Grassroots sports development, mandatory. Welfare of athletes, mandatory. But the most important is policy. We need a policy in the direction of turning our sports into industry. Without policy, we can't have the investment, we can't have the incentives that is necessary, and the infrastructure. We hope that we can deliver on a sports industry policy, the first ever for this country, that will move sports away from recreation to being an economic activity that can create jobs, put more value on our athletes, but also open up a new line of revenue for the federal government.
Talking about the welfare of you getting in contact with our athletes, I hope you're in touch with them ahead of the Olympics next year, sir.
Yes, I'm in touch with them, but also not just our athletes who are foreign-based, but also that our athletes that are home-based are also vital because they form a team together. You look at the relay team, you look at the team sports. So I've been in touch with them, both those foreign-based and also those that are home-based. Myself, but also directors at the ministry and some of my aides have been in touch with them constantly. But I think it's also important that beyond the Olympics, even before the Olympics, we have the National Sports Festival, which is our own Olympics here. And some of the foreign-based athletes like S.A. Prumi and the rest are actually in the country. They came into the country 10 days, 1 week before the commencement. Recall, we postponed 5 days to commencement. But beyond that, we're happy that World Athletics has set up a $500 million athletes relief fund. They've rolled out the modalities for that. We're happy that the IOC has a task force, the National Olympic Committee. They've extended the scholarships given to our athletes, and they have some other programs that they have for them. On our part, we've been able to leverage our partnership with the private sector to raise something that is ad hoc, that is about 11 million for relief. It's an ad hoc. It's something that is ad hoc. It's a piloting to help athletes, particularly during the lockdown. And what we did simply, we had a criteria, and 50,000 naira, 11 million naira, 220 athletes, both foreign-based and home-based, got 50,000 naira. It's not a question of the amount now. It's a piloted, and it's meant for sportsmen and sportswomen who meet the criteria that was set by the ministry. The monies were paid directly into the CBN account of the ministry. The monies went out from our project account directly into the accounts of all the beneficiaries. Now, we on our part are looking at how we can work with state governments to also support our athletes.
Okay, Minister, before you go, on a jovial note, are you a happy man?
Oh, yeah. Well, you can see me cracking with laughter. It just depends on what you think makes you happy. I'm a happy man.
Okay, I know why I asked if you're a happy man, because tell us, we want to know this acronym SAD that are part of your name. What do they mean?
Well, Sunday Akilabi Dare, and that it sounds like sad. But I'm happy.
So you're happy, you're not sad.
In this country, in this capacity. And I'm sure you're happy too.
No, I'm happy. It's just that the acronym is sad. SAD.
You can turn it around and make it GSA or that.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Sunday Darren.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that was the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Sunday Dare, speaking to us all the way from Abuja. We say thank you, Honorable Minister. It's a very incisive one. You had him there bearing his mind on all his plans for Nigerian sports. Good plans the Honorable Minister have, and we hope that he will be able to implement them. All right, away from the Sports Minister's interview now, let's go straight to top news and begin to tell you a few other things that are happening in the world of sports. And let's start with the welfare of Nigerian ex-internationals. The good thing is that Sunday Eboigbe will soon bounce back. He has been down with a very strange ailment, but the minister has moved in, and Sunday Eboigbe is now getting some care, and he has been examined by medical doctors. In fact, very soon treatment will start, and we just hope that Sunday Eboigbe will bounce back and begin to walk again on his feet. Oluchi, good one coming there. Some lifeline coming for Sunday Eboigbe.
Yes, I can tell you that the minister has done well in making sure that he's been able to reach out to 1, 2, 3 ex-internationals. But the ministry alone or the minister cannot do everything as regards sports. We have a whole lot of people that have done well for this country, not limiting it to football. And I also think this is high time that the players' union, they go out there. During the week, I had the opportunity of speaking with Austin Popo, the Secretary of the players' union, as regards this particular issue. I also know they've been raising funds because I happen to also belong to the players' union. I know that they've been able to raise foundation, they've registered deeds. So this is the time to come in partnership with the NFF and the ministry to make sure that these players, they have a plan B once they hang the boots. It is not always a good idea that these players, they go from hand to mouth each time they have little health challenges, and people will start raising funds for them. I must commend the sports minister. He's scratching on a whole lot of places at the same time. That will go a long way to tell you that sports in general in Nigeria, we need to look at it holistically. There are a whole lot of challenges to be looked into.
Okay, that brings me to the issue of holistic outlook to these issues. Tony, today you pay attention to Christian Chukwu because somebody exposed the fact. I remember when I wrote about Christian Chukwu being down, somebody, the government moved in and took care of him. Godwin and Akena just exposed Sunday Eboigbe now. Government is taking care of him. Another person talked about Fregene. But there are so many people out there. It should be a total package, Tony. Talk about taking the welfare of our, talking about the welfare of our ex-international. And that is what the sports minister is saying, that the NFF should come up with a blueprint on these ex-internationals. It's not just we'll take care of this, and so many others are suffering.
Yeah, indeed, George. I think we must first of all, say a very big thank you to the sports minister, for his, being very proactive, to the health and well-being of this retired sportsman. Only just touched it barely, and I must tell you, that we must not solely depend on either the minister or the Nigeria Football Federation. We should be very, very realistic in this, George. We know we're talking about life. We're talking about, earnings. We do know that some of these players, when they were playing, they made so much money. And of course, I don't think that any of the players played without getting his full compensation, without being paid his bonuses, without doing anything. As in, George, if we begin to look at it, there is no how the government can take care of everybody. We're just talking about everybody. The police, so many people are serving Nigeria. I think that people, when you are working, you must always try as much as possible to remember to save some things. But that the government is showing concern, I welcome that. But then it should not be a standard point. As in anybody that felt they just because you did for one player, you must do for everybody. There is no way we are going to move forward when we begin to do that. People might not like this, but this is a very, very naked truth, George. That government or the Nigeria Football Federation alone cannot even do this. Only she talks about the players' union, and exactly this is where this unionism comes. They have a foundation, they raise so much money, they get a lot of this.
So that should be the way to go.
This money should be deployed into taking care of these players, that touch the lives of so many people, bringing so much joy to so many homes. I think this is the way to go. Instead of us depending on any minister that comes, because he has touched on George, who was playing in amateur league, Tony Ubane, who played pro in Spain, should equally be taken care of. Or Lucci, who played in Belgium, second division listen in Belgium.
Okay. I don't know when Tony played in Spain. Maybe those days when he played for Swansea has become Spain. Okay, Tony, we'll talk about that much later on the show. From there, let's take you now to our own sports festival. 11-man committee has been set up to look at the possibility of hosting Edo 2020 this year. At the virtual meeting that took place early in the week, a decision was taken that the sports festival should hold this year. But the issue now is, how would it hold? This 11-man committee will come up with modalities. Oluchi,
Yes,
how possible is it going to be our own Olympics?
Everybody is optimistic that before the end of the year, we should be able to overcome this particular pandemic. I know that a whole lot of people were disappointed, especially, people from Edo State, because they have done everything possible to make sure that they are on ground to host this particular festival. But as it is, with what is happening now, and the funniest thing is that COVID-19, you can't just look at it holistically. You have to break it down to states, because when you look at some of the figures emanating from some states, like Lagos FCT and Ogun State, compared to other states, you want to say, apart from these three states, let's see what we can do. But it can't work out like that. And let's just hope that people begin to understand that even as the world is embracing sports, is it going to be possible? Are we going to host a sports festival without fans also? Are we going to apply some of these rules there? Can it work here? So those are the things that they are going to look at before they can, actually come out with the dates.
Okay, and from Sports Festival, let's equally tell you that the NFF too took a decision that their football committee should look at the possibility of the league coming back, but no date. They said they will wait on the federal government to give green light on when the league can possibly resume. But for now, nobody is talking about cancelling the NPFL. Tony.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think they are borrowing leaves equally from, the other leagues in the world, and I think the major problem that is going to, confront the MPFL is crowd control, especially in the north, because we do know that, there are so many places, down the south and the east, the matches are played, and then you do not get favorable crowds. But we do know that in Bauchi, for instance, such places, they have very massive crowd attendance, and how are they going to cope with that? It's a pretty difficult thing. If indeed, we are so much aware of the effects of COVID-19. I think that the MPFL should not rush, just because others are doing. Let us equally join the queue. I think they should take their time and plan well.
Okay, take time and plan well. We just hope that at the end of the day, the right decisions will be taken. All right, from top news now, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about sports we'll now concentrate on sports without the fans. We saw what happened last week in the Bundesliga. I hope you are enjoying Sportsville. We'll be back after this break. All right, welcome back. We are now back to talk about the return of football and other sports without the fans. Last week, we saw the Bundesliga stage a return. We say congratulations to the Germans for the job they put into that. It was fantastic. They've shown the way for other countries to follow. And the EPL will hopefully be back. 748 players were tested. That was massive, mad testing. And at the end of the day, only 6 came out positive with COVID-19. And they are taking care of all that ahead of the return of EPL. Like we told you, other leagues are equally staging a comeback, but Belarus are still playing, the Koreans are playing, and in fact they use sex doll as fans at the arena, which has been condemned globally. Gentlemen, we saw the return of football, the Bundesliga. You now score and you begin to wave your teammates as if you are in a training session.
Yeah, I saw it, I won't want to use the word. It was quite funny. It means players need to
social distancing while
dig down
celebrating
and be creative. I saw a robotic kind of celebration apart from the waving, and I liked it. I think the players, they are getting used to it. For team sports, it might be easy, without the fans, but the people that actually feel for, talking about athletics, individual sports, that needs the fans for real motivation, that needs the fans after winning medals. You pick up
like
your
during
flag,
the Diamond League and all
you
that.
pick up your flag, you run around the stadium and things like that. That is those people that will really, really feel the absence of fans in the stadium.
Tony, it's like we're in for sports without fans, not just it's a long haul, the way things are going.
Indeed, it's a very, very long haul. George, I watched the Bundesliga, so much relief that football is back, but then the ingredients are missing. It's, George, there is no how you're going to make a draw soup, without okra or bono. It's pretty difficult. I saw the dolls, I saw the shirts that were used to decorate, very creative ideas, by the Germans in giving the fake impression that, fans are watching, and then, the voiceover noises that you could just hear, from previous matches going on. If it's not the fans, if it's not the crowd, George, it cannot be the crowd. I saw the celebration too. The celebration, some of them, the Ghanaian could not even hold back himself, from kissing another player. And of course,
sometimes they forgot about social distancing.
That has been around. George, it's going to take time. We're talking about humanity. We're talking about life. But then I think, with some time, they'll get to even come out with some other creations. I saw some people, when they score, 2 or 3 people will just stand by and then, use their boats to dance and all those things. It's a very good thing that football and sports is coming back generally. But then I think let's pray that COVID will go away so that people can truly enjoy watching football without a fan. Just I saw it. It was not as good as it used to be.
Not really as good as it used to be, but there's nothing we can do now at the moment. And then only to come to look at it, how about allowing a few fans to come in? You wear your mask and all that, then do social distancing. Is it possible? A stadium that is supposed to take, say, 20,000 fans, you allow about 5,000 into the arena. How about that?
I don't know. What's the criterion that you're going to use pick those particular fans? What makes you more qualified than me to go to the stadium to watch a particular match?
It's a lot of challenge.
It is, because these are die-hard fans of different clubs. Some have bought tickets for the whole season. A whole lot of logistics will need to go into this. So, but to be on the safe side, this is health, this is life we are talking about. For this time period, let's just stay put at home and see the games from our TV stations.
Okay.
George, beyond, I think, to add to what Oluchi says, George, if you begin in sports, football, or sports generally, it's difficult to achieve social distancing. As we're talking about screaming fans who scream. And what the WHO, have taught us about this COVID-19, that's about droplets. So there is, even no matter in sports, you see people screaming at the,
especially when goal is scored.
When goals
who says
scored,
the fans will go and celebrate?
Scored and all those things. So I think that's where that maxim comes in. Prevention is better than cure.
Okay, let's just hope that at the end of the day, the world would overcome this corona pandemic crisis and we can begin to enjoy sports the way we used to. Life would return to normal soon, very soon. I know that we're in for a long haul, but at the end of the day, human will definitely overcome this. Let's take another break now with this special one we'll have with Ufom Udo, former Enyimba star who is now plying his soccer trade in the United States of America. My producer Atayo Gunsheye got this getting personal with him. Enjoy it. We'll be back after it. It's still Sportsville.
Bashir, and it is a photo. It's goal number 1.
Fanudo, Nigerian footballer. Started from the grassroots, started from what I love doing, playing since from nursery school to primary to secondary school up to this point. I never knew I could take football like a career. But right now, along the line, I took it as a career. I didn't even know when I started taking football as a career, but I took it along the line, and here am I, doing what I love to do best. Yeah, you know, there were funny stories, rumors here and there, but I wouldn't say I'm controversial. Even the people I left, the last club I left, we still talk together, we chat together, we call ourselves on phone, we see ourselves, we give ourselves friendly hugs. We don't have any problem, we are good. My first pay up with my dad, I think that particular day there was no food at home. And he came to me, he said, I'm going to give you some money, how much is it? And I told him, he said, okay, there's no food at home, I'm going to give you this money. Don't tell your mom. Because if you tell her, there's going to be fire in this house. And he gave me that money. He has been so instrumental to my career. He has been supportive from day one because he loves football. And I can't wish but to say thank you to him. I can't remember what I did with the money. But I know I bought a lot of clothes. I took it home. Bought some things at home for my parents. Yeah. I did a lot of things with the money, even if the money was that small, but I did a lot of things with the money. My first car was a Mercedes-Benz A-Class. My best food is afang soup. Afang soup with semovita. I love all kind of music. It depends on my mood and it depends on the situation, the atmosphere. Maybe it's raining, I need to play slow songs that will put me to bed. When I want to dance, I need to play our normal Niger songs, you know. Well, I think I have a crush on Rihanna, so she's my best music artist. I want to play in one of the top leagues in the world, undisputed. And I believe, I know for sure, in as much, no matter how late it is, I'll definitely get there. In a few years from now, I see myself playing one of the top leagues in the world.
All right, welcome back. We're hosting home now. I have to say a big thank you to my colleagues for being here. Tony, thank you for coming to Sportsville.
Thank you so much, George. I remember players that have the habits of spitting, and then when they miss a goal or just just get some rough tackles. So what do they do now? Spitting on the pitch.
Spitting attracts a yellow card, so you just cannot spit despite the fact that you are dissipating energy. It's as bad as that. That is what coronavirus has caused. On that note, let me say a big thank you to baby of the house, Oluchi Tobes Tobechukwu.
It's so good to be back. Second week making the team, and I hope to be here again next week.
All right, that is the show. I hope you have enjoyed us this week. But please, as much as possible, if you don't have any need to go outside, stay at home. Home still remains the best place to be at the moment. And if you are going out, don't forget, follow all the protocols on the part of government and our health authorities. Put on your nose masks and ensure that you do some social distancing. That's the show. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye and God bless.